Hello crafters, I'm JanB and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'd like to show you how I made this centre stepper card. The colour on this card is Lemon Lime Twist, which is one of our new ink colours for 2017 to 2019, which will be available as from 1st of June, which is a couple of days away. The card that I'm going to make for the video is Berry Burst, which is another of our new ink colours. So let's pop that one up there. So I'll start off by telling you the card pieces you're going to need. To start off with, the card base is 8 1/4 inches by 5 3/4 inches, which is 21 by 14.5. But there's no scoring done, okay? That's just a straight blank sheet there. And then you'll need a piece of Whisper White, which measures 7/8 of an inch by 5 5/8 inches, which is 2.2 by 14.2 centimetres. And then you'll need a piece of Designer Series paper, and this is the Fresh Florals Designer Series paper stack, which comes in all the 5 new ink colours, and it has a water wash effect to it, so it has these lighter areas sporadically over the sheet. It's not a fault, that's the way it has actually been designed. And then you need 2 pieces of Whisper White, which measure 7/8 inches by 2 7/8 inches, which is 2.2 by 7.3 centimetres. And then 2 pieces of the Designer Series paper stack, and these measure 3/4 of an inch by 2 3/4 inches, which is 1.9 by 7 centimetres. And then a piece of Whisper White, which measures 3 5/8 inches by 3 inches, which is 9.1 by 7.6 centimetres. And then a piece of, that's that one. And then some Designer Series paper, which is 3 1/2 inches by 2 7/8 inches, which is 8.8 by 7.3 centimetres. And then a piece of Whisper White, which measures 3/8 of an inch by 2 1/2 inches, which is 1 centimetre by 6.4 centimetres. And a piece of Berry Burst cardstock, which is 1/2 inch by 2 5/8 inches, which is 1.3 by 6.7 centimetres. And then a piece of Whisper White and Berry Burst cardstock, both of which are approximately 3 inches by 3 inches, which is 7.5 by 7.5 centimetres approximately. And then you'll need 1 piece of Berry Burst cardstock, which is approximately 1/2 inch by 2 1/2 inches. As long as it's close to that, that really doesn't have to be spot on. You'll see why when we get to that bit. Right, I'm going to do my stamping first on that one and that piece. So this piece here is for my sentiment, and my sentiment is from a stamp set called Big on Birthdays, and that's the sentiment I'm using. So this should be quite easy to get it nice and straight because it's a photopolymer stamp, and I'm using Berry Burst ink. Let's try not to get my head in front of the camera. If I don't get this right first time, I've got another one over there that I stamped earlier. I do find it difficult when I can't get my head right over. That's not bad. Not particularly straight, but that's okay. And then next for the dog, he's from Bella and Friends, and the dog on this one, I've used the one with the bone, and the card that I'm going to be doing now, I'm going to be using this dog. So this is my piece of paper. This is my stamp and the archival basic black ink. I'm just going to stamp him in the centre. Hopefully nice and straight. Oh, not terribly straight, is it? It's a bit of a shame because I'm planning to cut this out with a square. Let me see if I can... Oh, that's alright. That's... The piece of paper is big enough to be able to correct that. Right, now to colour him, I'm using marker pens and I'm using Sahara Sand and also Berry Burst. The Berry Burst, I'm just doing his collar and the little heart. And then for the fur, oops, because these lines aren't solid lines, I just draw strokes coming inwards. Okay, it's not too bad on the ears because that's quite a small area to do. And do the other ear as well. It's more of a challenge for the head and the body because they are that much larger areas. But the thing is, when, or at least I feel, when you're doing animals, because they've got fur on them, if you don't get everything painted really spot on evenly, that's good because it makes it look more realistic for the fur. Okay, so his ears are okay. As you can see, I just keep doing lines coming inwards. There we go, that's fine for his face. Just check these pointy bits to make sure I haven't left any white bits. Right, and then the tail, that's another easy bit. I just like to go over some areas again to get a bit of shadowing, a bit light, a bit dark, so that's okay. And now we can do the body again, just lines coming inwards. There we go, it doesn't take too long. Go around the outside again a bit, one to fill out the spiky bits and also to give a little bit of shadowing, a bit of darkness there. And the legs. There we go, I think that's fine. Okay. No Picasso, but it's fine. It's handmade. With love, by me. Right, now I'm going to do a background. as you know, I don't like leaving my cards with the white absolutely stark. I know that I could just do like grounding to make so you can see that he's actually sitting there, but I prefer to do something else, as you can see. And what I'm going to use is this stamp, which is from Timeless Textures, which is, no, it's not Timeless Textures, is it? No, I've got the wrong stamp set there. What stamps have I used? Oh, I know. Yep. Touches of Texture. I was close. This is the one I'm going to be using. Right. I wonder why I thought it was the other one. Right, what I'm going to do is, earlier on I made myself a mask for the dog because I don't want to stamp this over and that pattern to come onto his fur. And it's a post-it note, so it's sticky down there. I'm just going to cover him up. I wasn't exact when I was doing all those little spiky bits, but this will work fine. I'm using Sahara Sand ink and I'm going to stamp off once and then just stamp it right across. There we go. So I take the mask off. You can see it's not a huge dark pattern, but it is enough to take away the starkness. Right, okay, now I'm going to do the die cutting, which is just this piece and this piece. Only what I'm going to do here is it will be the square. In fact, let's get rid of that piece. So the squares I'm using are these two, and this one here is the number 3 from the Stitched Shape framelits, and for this one, the scallop shape, is number 7 from there. So what I'll do is I'll get the dog lined up first because I didn't stamp him particularly straight, so I need to tilt my frame slightly. And let me just do it like this because it is a magnet platform that I've got there, and that's not going to slide off. I think that's straight. And then this one, put my other cutting mat back on. So that's good, he looks straight. And then there's a scallop. Okay, so we can pop that away. So that's ready to be put together. All of those are ready to be put together. So we're going to do this bit now, the cutting and the scoring. I'm going to do all of this using my trimmer. Get myself straightened up again. Right, got that one, that end, cutting this end. Right, let me check my instructions while I tell you what we need to do. Right, first of all we'll do the cutting. Now we need to cut from 1 inch down to 5 1/8 on both sides, and it's got to be an inch inwards. So first of all I'm going to line this up at what was this? This is 5 3/4. Yep. So it's got to be lined up at 4 3/4. Okay, so it's 4 3/4 there. And then for cutting, it's got to start. Now this is a bit confusing for me because I have inches across here, but it's centimetres here. And you probably know I'm a lot more comfortable with inches. So what you need to do on this side is, in inches, you need to cut from 1 inch down to 5 1/8 inches. If you're metric, you've got to do it from 2.5 down to 13 centimetres. Now I'm going to just, again, I don't want to get my head in the front here, so let me just tilt this over. Yep, that looks about right. Okay, so that's my 2.5, which is approximately an inch, and I'm coming down to 13. Again, I can't see that, so let's tip it up. Yep, that's okay. Okay, now we're going to do the same on this side. So if you move this over to 1 inch and do exactly the same again. So that's from 2.5. I'll just tip that up and check it again. Ooh, good job I checked that. That's better. So that starts at 2.5. And then bring it down to 13. Let's check that. Just a tad more, that's it. So for me that's a difficult bit done. Now we're going to do the scoring, and I'm going to use this, but I like to use my bone folder with it. I don't think that gives as good a crease as this, a score as this one will do. So what you need to do is to line this up at your 1 inch mark, which is 2.5 centimetres. Yeah, I did 2.5, and you are going to score from the edge up to your cut line. Oops, shall I show you what I'm doing? Let's bring that down. Right, let's start again. Line this up at 1 inch, and then I'm going to score from the beginning down to the cut line. I'm not going to come over the cut line. Right, so that's starting from the edge, make sure that's really nice and straight, and then just down to the cut line. And then I'm going to come down to here from the cut line right down to the edge. Okay, just like that. Just make sure you get a nice good score. And then move your cardstock over to 2 inches. And then score from the outside up to your cut line. And then again from this cut line to the edge. Now the third one you're going to do is you're going to move this over to 5 1/8. And you're going to score from the outside again up to the score of the cut line. And then from this cut line to the edge. So you will have 3 score lines there and 3 score lines here. Now you need to move back very slightly to 4 1/8. Now this time you need to score from that cut line down to that cut line. It's the only score you're going to have in the centre here. Okay, so from that cut line down to this cut line. Okay, now whilst you've got this out, that little piece that I said to you, doesn't matter how wide it is, but it should be 2.5 inches long. You just need to give that a score at 1.25 inches. So that's in the middle. And then if you line it up there to give it a little gentle score, in fact for this one you could use this because you don't need much of a score, it's just an indication for you really. Okay, then let's turn it round the other way, I find it easier. And then again 1/2 inch this side. Okay, so this one's a proper score because you're going to fold it. Okay, that gets folded in half, but these are just little lines for you, and I'll show you what that's for towards the end. Right, now if you look at your card, if you find that your score line has gone over, which very surprisingly mine hasn't, well that one has very slightly, what you can do, if you turn it so you've got the reverse side towards you, where it's gone on the piece that's wrong, and do make sure you do this from the wrong side, just use your bone folder to flatten it out. Okay, the reason I say you must do it from this side is because it will make your cardstock go shiny, and you don't want that to happen on your proper side. But all the others for mine are okay, which is unusual. That's the first time it's happened. Right, what we're going to do now is we're going to fold this little one and this little one as mountain folds. We're going to do this big one as a mountain fold. Just do it very gently to start off with. This one here, which is a 2-inch mark, that's going to be a valley, and this is going to be a mountain. And then the same again, this is going to be a valley, and this one's going to be a mountain. So it's going to fold like that. Okay, once you've done all of that, it should all go into shape nicely. Now if you find that that hasn't gone quite right, that you can feel a bit pulling or something, first of all make sure that this is lined up correctly. Mine's fallen a little bit short, but I'm not going to worry too much about that. Okay, and then start on this big folded side. If you hold it all down like that, then give that a good crease. Give that a good crease, and that one. Then once you're happy with that, you can turn it around and then crease on the inside there, and then the inside of that one. That one you can give a crease, but I don't recommend you do it too hard because you get a lump, a mark, because you're going onto, or at least when you, no, that's the one. If you do it too hard, you get a mark down here because you've got to fold underneath. If you do that underneath there, that's fine. Do that one underneath, that's fine. And then that one from the top, but that one don't do too hard. Okay, so there we go. There's our stepper card. Now what we need to do is just put our card together. So what we're going to do, did I sort out my, yes I did, my silicone mat, and I'll use Tombow. You can use fast fuse for this if you like, possibly even Snell. I'm not an expert on Snell, so I don't know. You can use either design for your side panels. I got some tweezers here. They must be here somewhere because I was using them earlier. Oh, tidied up after myself, look at that. Okay. So that goes onto that piece. You should have, oops, you should have 2 of these. and this one goes on here. So where's my other white piece? There it is. There we go, there's that one. And then the one for the front. That one. Now for this one I'm turning the design around. I'm going to use that one on this side. These designer series paper for this the new in colours, they've taken 4 of the designs from last year's Floral Boutique, or at least this year's, because we've still got 2 days left of this year for the catalogue, and they've picked out 4 beautiful designs, really lovely. I'll show you the other 2 designs. So that's that. Let's do these pieces onto here. In fact, this I find easier if I've got it opened up. Let's do the long one first. And then these for the 2 sides. And this one. Now before I put the other one, the big one on here, this bit here, I'm going to tie some ribbon around it, but I don't know if it's going to work. I haven't left much room there because I've done the square, but we're going to give it a try anyway. Yeah, that's the ribbon scissors. Right, let's move you out of the way for a minute. Now which way do I want this? I think I'll have the biggest flower up at the top. Now I don't do a bow with this, I'm just going to tie a knot. See how much I need. I suppose that'll be about right. Come on, don't argue. Please don't fight. Oh, that's all right. Well done. So just slide it along wherever you want that to be. I'll cut that off in a jiffy. And then decide how you want this to go. Whether you want your dog at the top, ribbon at the bottom, dog in the middle, ribbon in the middle, however. I think I'm going to move this down. No, not quite. Let's get it up a little bit, just have a little bit of the dog going over. Like that, so that I can have little dimensionals down there. The dog's right near the top, and then the bow will be coming across like that. Or do I prefer it further up? I think further up. Yes, half and half, definitely. Right, okay. Now I'm going to move the knot right to the very end. I'm going to trim the ends off. That might be too long, I'll find out once I've put the dog on. Right, I'm going to pop him on with dimensionals. Did I tidy up those? Yes, I did. Look at that. Right, for the first one, I'm going to just cut a dimensional in half. No, I don't need to, do I? Right. I have one top and bottom, because I want the dimensionals to go above the ribbon rather than on the ribbon. Okay, so that's like that. Not sure that's terribly straight there. Let me hold it up to do it. That's more like it. Okay, and then the knot can sit over the dog as well. But I will take it a little bit smaller. That one I thought was a bit too pointed, but now it's made it too short, so let's trim that one down. Oh, that's much better. Right, now I'm going to pop this onto the card. Beautiful colour, this Berry Burst. In fact, I think all the colours are. I didn't think I'd like the lemon lime twist, but I do. It's beautiful. It's not as bright as I thought it would be. I thought it would be more like a fluorescent colour. Right, there we go. There's that. Okay, so there's that bit. Now let's do the happy birthday. And then that can definitely go on with dimensionals as well. And that I will use 3. If it will let go. One at the beginning, one at the end, and one in the middle. There we go, like that. Let me just hold this up to get it straight first time. That's fine. Now for this one, no, I don't think I would. I was toying with the idea whether I needed to put anything on the back for somebody to write their greeting. Decided not to on that one. It's nice and light, and I'm not sure it's really needed on that. But the other one that I did, which I'll show you, you will need it. Right, if we can just come back to this little piece now, I'll show you what I've done with this. You may not like this idea, so if you don't, just leave it out. But when these cards are standing up, what I don't like is when they do the splits and they keep falling down like that. So what I do is I put a little piece on the inside to stop it from falling apart. So when you close the card and it just folds, but when you stand the card up, it just stands properly. If you were planning on writing on the inside of the card, obviously that would mean that you couldn't, but I would write on the back anyway. So what I do on this, where I've got those little lines that I said were just like a guide for you, is just to put some snail on there. And on that end as well. So close it up like that. Let's move that out of the way so you can see better. Okay, so I've got it folded in half. And then I will just put it in the centre here somewhere. This is why it doesn't really matter how wide you do it. The length does matter, because if you do it too long, then it's still going to be able to do the splits. But the width doesn't really matter. Then just hold that bit down, close your card on top of it, and then you better stand your card up like that. Good, isn't it? Really, really pleased with that. The whole card, not just the standing up bit. And this is the other one that I did. One of the kitty ones, and I got a piece in there as well to stop that one falling over. But this is fresh fig. But the other thing, another difference between all of these is that one's square you've just seen, that's a larger circle than that one, so you can see the way each of them fit in, you know, whether it matters or not. With this one, this also shows the other two designs. I mean, it's just 2 sheets, but they've got a total of 4 designs. But what I'd like to just explain to you about that one there, and I forgot to bring the sheet over with me, so just bear with me. Oh, here we go. This green one. This is a Tranquil Tide, but this is also shows you the watercolour, the watercolour wash, where the colours fade. So that's normal, okay? But when you're doing the strips for here, because these are the same widths, when you do that one, you can just do one long strip down the paper. But this one, you have to take into account the design, because it's got a directional design. So for that, you need to take your strip across this side. And then for the 2 sides, you need to take it from that side. Okay? And the other thing that I was going to say to you was, when I don't know which way a design goes, I look at the front, and if that is a directional pattern like this one is, then I assume that the pattern on the other side, that's the right way. But when I looked at that, I thought it looked better that way. So that totally disproved my theory, which is a bit of a shame because I've relied on that quite a lot. But, you know, it doesn't matter. It's all really down to what appeals to you. If it looks good to you, then it's good. Anyway, there's today's project. Many thanks for joining me. If you have any questions or you'd like to leave a comment, please post it in the box below or email me at janb@janbcards.com. I'm always happy to help you. If you'd like to purchase any of the products that I featured here today, the new things will be available on 1st of June, which will be the day that I post this. It'll be like tomorrow. I'll put a link in the box below for my 24/7 online Stampin' Up shop, and I would really appreciate your business. If you've enjoyed my video, please click on the subscribe button and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. All the products that I've used and the measurements, I will put them in the box below for you. And I have also started putting them on my blog as well. Somebody said that they like to do a copy and paste for the sizes, but you can't do it from the box, which I didn't realise. So as from the last video, I've started doing that. So they will be there if you want them, but you don't have to go to my blog because they'll all be down there for you. Okay, many thanks for joining me today. Until next time, happy crafting. Cheerio.